Now, folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine, folks.
All right, let's go, because you know what I came in to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
The newcomers spend a lot of money to try and impress and entice fighters into their lair. DAZN paid Mikey Garcia $7 million to fight Jesse Vargas. Golovkin was getting up to $10 to $15 million a fight for the likes of Zedameta and Steve Rolls. I'm reading here that Billy Joe Saunders would have got 2.3 if he didn't pop dirty when he was scheduled to fight Demetrius Andrade. Huge money. We know about the Triller bids for Kambosos and Lopez. Marv Nation, 2.4 for Regis Prograis and ZEPEDA. Good fight, but hardly household names. Rock Nation paid Andre Ward 6.5 for the Kovalev rematch, and they didn't stay in boxing too long after that. The money was flowing back then. Rock Nation offered Adrian Broner $40 million for a multi-fight deal, which would have probably worked out to $4 to $5 million a fight, and he turned it down and actually told Jay-Z that he could fellatiate with an elephant tongue. It was often said the PBC fighters were overpaid, like when Eddie was making all of them offers like Jamal, Adrian, Tank, Mikey and Jarrett Hurd. And part of that was Al was paying them some very good purses, them fighters, considering none of them were in no pay-per-view events or anything like that. Danny Jacobs was the only PBC fighter of that time who saw something in Eddie's bag that said, let's talk. He eventually signed Mikey. Now we got Black Prime on the scene. They're paying Terence Crawford $10 million for the Avanesian fight. That could be an understandable speculation, gamble, if you like. But what other welterweights do they have there? Or even 154-pounders after the Avanesian fight? Because surely they must be looking to recoup that expenditure. But then again, I don't know how much money they're rolling, you know what I mean? They might be bankrolled by some big-time players and billionaires. With Crawford, even though he's older than Adrian Broner, I think Crawford's 35, you can understand why you would take that gamble. Consensus pound for pound number 1 or 2 in the sport, depending what source and who you talk to. 3-time world champion, undisputed in one of the weight classes, still undefeated. 6 welterweight title fights, all have ended by knockout. If you're going to take a gamble on a fighter on ability alone, well, Terence is the guy. But Adrian Broner, you know, he's all enthusiastic now and he might feel like a new man with this new deal, a new lease of life. But Broner gets bored quick, doesn't he? I wouldn't imagine they're going to give him anyone too strenuous on the first fight, but on the second, that's recoup time. But once again, who are they going to get and where are they going to get them and what network are they going to be on? Because any welterweight worth anything on the market is either signed to PBC, Top Rank perhaps, and whoever Matchroom have. But they did say they were going to sign some more fighters, so we'll see. So some YouTube channels suggesting they might feed AB to Terence. Adrian is promising fireworks, but we know he can be entertaining in the build-up to a fight, and then come fight time, he doesn't let his hands go. And once the adrenaline and excitement wears off that he signed this new deal, there's a good chance we might just be left with the old AB that just left the PBC, that didn't beat Santiago, in my opinion, who got washed by the aged Manny Pacquiao. Could only manage a majority draw with Jesse Vargas. I thought Broner won that though, and lost to Mikey Garcia. Arguably he's lost his last 4 fights, depending how you look at them fights. He got a W against Santiago, but unless something dramatically changes, they may have signed up a fighter 9 years past his prime shot for a $10 million deal. Like Eddie wanted to sign AB. In my opinion, he dodged a bullet. Derek Chisora and Frank Warren didn't part on good terms. In fact, after Derek lost to Joseph Parker in the second fight, Warren was unequivocal with his comments on Ward Chisora. Warren said Chisora should walk away and then dismissed any notion of a trilogy fight with Fury. Chisora should retire, end of story, Warren said. The only way Tyson fights Chisora, again, is if we're struggling for an opponent or if Tyson insisted on it. He should retire. He should not be allowed anywhere near the ring, let alone in there with Tyson. However, near on a year later, we find ourselves having discussions about Chisora Fury 3. And Frank now is trying to tell everybody this is a great fight. And now Frank is saying Chisora is the highest rated available fighter if you go on BoxRec. I'm going to read these out quickly to cut through why we made this fight, Warren said. Number 1, Alexander Usyk was not available. He said he couldn't fight in December. Anthony Joshua, we wasted a month on that. He's not available. Then there's Dillian White, who Tyson has beaten. Then you've got Joe Joyce, who wouldn't be available because he's only fought recently. Well, AJ only fought recently. And Joyce had an easier fight than AJ. Joyce obviously didn't agree because he put his name forward to face Tyson Fury on December the 3rd. And this is Tyson Fury's stablemate, signed to Queensberry and Frank Warren, and they couldn't make the fight for him. Joyce, I don't know, Joyce is a strange guy. But anyway, let's continue with Frank's list. Luis Ortiz got beaten recently. Then Parker, who got beat by Joyce. So the highest available contender on BoxRec was War Chisora. But there were higher ranked fighters in the WBC rankings at that time, available and good to go. Makhmudov was rated 4 by the WBC. He wasn't asked to the party. Otto Wallin is ranked number 7 by the WBC, 1 behind Makhmudov. They didn't want no parts of that after the first fight. And as for the AJ fight, the only people's time was wasted, Frank, was ours. And your insistence that AJ just signs the contract within 2 weeks or whatever, like, ridiculous. Every day Tyson and Frank coming on camera, sign the contract, sign it. Please. I mean, that's a massive U-turn from Frank Warren, from what he said about Derek after the Parker loss in 2021. Derek don't care, he's getting a big payday. I don't care about the fight either. So Frank contradicted himself. What's the big deal? It's not the first time he did it. It's not the last time he did it. It's not the last time any promoter's going to do that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Hope Derek can pull off an upset. But if Warren is saying they were struggling to fight a higher ranked opponent, it's just a blatant lie. Blatant lie. Why is he using the BoxRec rankings when Tyson holds a WBC strap? Jamaine Ortiz is an interesting opponent for Lomachenko. Loma hasn't fought all year. Ortiz, only 26 years of age, has fought twice this year and has a good set of legs on him. He's better coordinated than Richard Comey with his legs, doesn't hit as hard, but not many lightweights do. Likes to throw a lot of punches, doubles up his jab. He makes adjustments, obviously. He fought a lot of the Jamel Herring fight from the southpaw stance, and he's an orthodox fighter. According to BoxRec, he's 5'8" and Loma's 5'7", but seeing them go head to head, there's no way there's an inch between them. Jamaine is clearly taller, a lot taller than an inch, or maybe an inch is a little bigger than what I perceive it to be. Now, he likes to be aggressive, but if he ends up following Loma around the ring, not able to cut the ring off properly, he probably will get picked apart, unable to deal with Loma's angles, just like many others. Ideally, Jamaine would like to hold the ring center, not back up, and keep Loma on the end of that stick. But that's easier said than done. Lomachenko obviously goes into the fight a favourite. But I think this kid can give a good account of himself. I really do. Bob Arum says that Bill Haney will be attending the MSG. And hopefully we will get Lomachenko versus Haney. Hopefully. A lot of the Haney fans, and I'm a Haney fan, are saying, oh well, when Lomachenko had the opportunity to fight Devin, he went for the franchise trinket. So Devin shouldn't do him any favours. Devin is not doing him any favours. Devin's trying to build his legacy. I don't know why boxing fans look at it like that. This is a great name for Devin to build his legacy if he stays at 135. And it's a dangerous fight for Devin at 135. Very dangerous fight. Because he's obviously tight at the weight. Some people are telling me that the Cuban kid, Robeisy Ramirez, has a tough test at featherweight against Jose Matias Romero. Supposedly going to be pretty tough. Richard Torres is on the bill. Nico Ali Walsh. That's going to clash with the DAZN card. Probably have to catch a replay of that on Sunday afternoon. Jojo Diaz has a tough task against William Zepeda. Very tough task. I mean, this is a big lightweight. 5'9", got about 4 inches reach on Jojo. Big puncher, physically imposing, very aggressive. What does Jojo do? Try and get in and out of his punches, or box on the outside? Perhaps try to back Zepeda up? Well, Jojo can box a bit, and he can fight a little, so he has options there, maybe a little of everything. Now I saw ZEPEDA versus Alvarado. ZEPEDA leaves a lot of gaps because he doesn't mind taking one to land one. Or two to land one if necessary. It's an excellent matchup though, and I can't wait to see it. There's not even a belt at stake here. And it doesn't need to be a belt. Last time out, JoJo lost a unanimous decision to Devin Haney, but he did okay. This is a way better style matchup for him than Devin. He fought 3 times last year. He beat Javier Fortuna on points, and we saw what Ryan did to Javier. Although Ryan did fight Javier at 140, you know the truth. That's why slugging could be dangerous. He will tag ZEPEDA, but you'd have to imagine at 135, ZEPEDA is way more powerful. Will JoJo become another knockout victim for ZEPEDA? 23 knockouts in 26 fights. No draws, no losses. I think JoJo takes him into the trench. Possibly a hard distance fight. ZEPEDA's southpaw stance, it could be a factor, but he's not a slick southpaw really. He's there to be hit. He's not really trying to hide his head and pop you with counters or anything like that. So it shouldn't be that much of an issue, but we'll see. ZEPEDA ranked 6 by the WBO, 8 by the WBA, and 13 with the WBC. The IBF are acting like he doesn't exist. While JoJo, number 6 with the WBC. There's a lot to play for. JoJo needs a big win. And ZEPEDA, I assume, wants to close in on them 4 belts while Devin still has them. That's on DAZN. I'll be tuning into that. You have a feeling that that one is guaranteed fireworks. Undisputed women's lightweight champion Katie Taylor takes on Karen Elizabeth Carabahal at Wembley Arena. This is Katie's first fight since the classic earlier this year against Serrano in New York. What they got on their undercard? Jordan GILL versus KIKO Martinez. Good European title fight. I gotta give Jordan credit for battling through some tough times in his career. When he lost to the Spaniard, Tinoco, the way he crumbled from the body attack, it didn't look like he was going anywhere. It really didn't. And the way he won the European title, February of this year, a miracle victory. He was heavily flawed and being outfought for lengthy periods of the bout. And there was one moment in the fight where I believed the guy seemed to suplex Jordan on his head. Jordan was out, but he got back up and found him finishing punches. Amazing fight. He takes on KIKO Martinez, who is no stranger to matchroom fighters. You know, he's fought Josh Warrington on a matchroom card. He fought Josh also on a Frank Warren card. He's fought Zelfa Barrett, Kid Galahad, who he took that IBF strap from. KIKO is coming off a knockout defeat against Josh Warrington, so Jordan might be meeting him at the right time. Not the wrong time, the right time. Jordan not a big puncher. KIKO definitely the bigger puncher, with 30 wins inside the distance, 43 wins, 11 losses, and 2 draws. Jordan has 8 knockouts in 27 victories, 1 loss and 1 draw. Jordan will attempt to box, but he's going to get caught up in a slugfest. I can see that. I think Martinez's pressure will lure him in, maybe not lure him in, force him into exchanging, and it's got war written all over it. Jordan needs to box from range. He needs to box. I believe Eddie Scottney, Johnny Fisher, John Hedges are in the bill also. So that'd be the warm-up on DAZN before we get to JoJo versus ZEPEDA. Thank you, DAZN! I appreciate my DAZN subscription, and I know some people don't like to hear that, but I've never thought of unsubscribing. Never. Johnny Fisher's talking about Chris Lovejoy. That'd be a good step up. Next card. Let's get him Chris Lovejoy. If he gets through this Saturday smoke, get him Chris Lovejoy. The testing protocol is all over the place. Father popped the kid. UCAT didn't. And if you go to different agencies, an adverse finding may have different meanings. And they need to come with clear, concise language for all the agencies to use. According to the Sun newspaper, BENN has tested positive for 2 adverse findings in 2 separate tests. Clomiphene was found in his urine tests provided to VADA on July the 25th and September the 1st. BENN's team assuming the first instance was an accident or false positive. BENN is still trying to prove his innocence, saying it must be a contaminated sample. He's saying, I'm not an idiot. Clomiphene stays in your system for months, and he's been found with tiny trace amounts. The bottom line now, it's gone on too long without no clinical language on what the state of play is. It's gone on too long now. And if it's in your system, it's in your system. The issue is not Conor Benn. It's the British Boxing Board of Control. If you're going to appoint UCAD to do testing, and another testing agency is testing in the same fight, you have to recognise their results as well as UCAD's. The extra testing is to catch dirty athletes, not to cause more confusion. And if that's the case, either you back Ben because he passed the UCAD testing, which they've put in place, or suspend him and take his license and cancel the fight straight away. Don't wait days before the fight. Why did they wait days before the fight? Before they leaked it. Don't leak to the newspapers. That's not doing your job properly. Then bring him to hearings and he has to relinquish his license because you ain't got the guts to suspend, or you're too incompetent and should have learned from the Billy Joe Saunders Andrade situation that if two testing bodies are testing the same fight, these issues can always come up. Nigel Benn's dad tore up his British license in the 80s when, yes, your boy Frank Warren was basically trying to control his career. He was promoting him, but he didn't like Ambrose Mendy. The board didn't like Ambrose Mendy, who Ben took on as an advisor. He got stripped of his Commonwealth title. He wanted to fight Harold Graham. He wanted to fight Duran. He wanted to fight Barkley. The British Boxing Board of Control and Frank Warren conspired against them fights. And he tore up his British license on television. And Conor is relinquishing his license. He believes that maybe they're getting payback for what Nigel did to them back then. But Nigel did continue to fight in the UK under a British license. I mean, look at the British Boxing Board of Control. They charged Conor with a misconduct charge, 50 grand fine, but the misconduct charge is not in relation to a doping ban. So what is it in relation to? They didn't like the colour of his shirt, but the public is so stupid. They're not looking at the incompetence and the absolute ridiculous procedure of handling this situation by the British Boxing Board of Control.